Match day 2. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Gav Mac, Big Gunner, what's good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How you doing today?
Buzzy,
Early
buzzy,
morning.
buzzy. Welcome
Yes,
to the
that's it.
morning.
It's early morning vibes, man. Still a bit
Early morning
early for
vibes.
me,
England are playing today.
man.
I'm wearing a Germany shirt, but England are playing today. So get on the beers early doors. Let's do it. Woo! Come on, come on, come on. At GavMac23, at Away Day Show, at MAD Sports Net, all on Twitter. That's how you can find us, how you can feel us. Bite-sized show, as always, in the mornings. We do, first of all, of course, look back on what happened last night and all of yesterday on all of those games before we look forward to the games that are happening today, including England. Come on, it's coming home, it's coming home. But I will bring it down a peg because we need to talk about what happened early on yesterday. Denmark versus Finland. Finland, their first ever major tournament game, their first major tournament victory with Poyampalo, and I'm a Bundesliga merchant, as everybody knows this already. But we need to talk about the Christian Eriksen situation now. The reports that I haven't seen anything this morning so far, but everything that I saw from last night is the fact he's talking, he is stable, he's in a good way. That is a massive, massive plus point at BG.
Yeah, it was sad to watch, and if I'm being honest, it didn't look good at the time, and when you see someone getting CPR and stuff like that, it's never a great sight, and yeah, it was good because you kind of saw when he was going off, you could hear the fans cheering, but nobody knew what it was because they cut straight away. So it is good to hear the reports last night that he is sitting up and he did have a FaceTime conversation with the rest of the squad. So hopefully that's good news for the future.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of chat going around last night about the game shouldn't have gone ahead and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. But it's Christian Eriksen himself who FaceTimed the squad and said that he's good and he wants the game to continue. So it was on them. They could have played it later on today at midday or finish off the game. And it was all basically down to Christian Eriksen. He was the one who wanted it to go ahead. So thankfully, he is in a good way. Let's hope he stays not just stable, but makes a speedy recovery. We can see him out on the green bit again. But let's talk about Finland for a couple of moments before we move on to the other two games. Finland, once again, is their first ever major tournament. They got the victory. How much is this going to invigorate them and the squad going forwards?
To be honest, I don't think it will. I think it was extraordinary circumstances, and the game was all Denmark before the goal, before after the goal, and it's just one of those things. They got the goal from a header that 10 out of 10 times Schmeichel saves it, but um, it just is what it is, and I think it was their only shot. I may need to look into that, but I think it was maybe one or two shots that they actually had. And it was quite feeble anyway, but it squeezed in, and fair play to them. They really wanted to celebrate, but they were very respectful and held back their celebrations because of everything that was going on. But I mean, at the end of the game, they couldn't really hold it back because it is a major, major thing for them to do to be in their first major championships and get their first win. So, congratulations to them. But after watching the other game as well, I can't see Finland getting many more points, to be honest.
Well, and Denmark, they did miss a penalty as well in the
Yeah.
shape of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. I don't understand why he was taking the penalty when there was Skov on the pitch, there was Poulsen on the pitch, there was Braithwaite on the
Two
pitch, but
strikers in the pitch, and yeah, odd,
makes
very odd.
it doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, the other game in that group was Belgium versus Russia. Belgium took Russia to the sword in their own patch as well. 26,000 fans there at the Gazprom in St. Petersburg. But Belgium, they were on it. They were on it from minute one. Russia, they tried to play some ball, but Belgium were just too good for them.
Um, I I don't know where Russia tried to play ball. I can't remember them actually having the ball. To be fair, yeah, it's just one of those performances from Belgium that we've come to expect. But now is the time that they have to. This is the golden generation, and I know they've got players, like Tielemans, Castagna, and that who is still quite young, but today they also had Toby, the Tongan, Vermaelen came on, so
I
they're
know.
old, they're old heads at the back. This is their last hooray, so um, obviously I want England to bring it home, but if it's not England, then I would like to see this golden generation of Belgium win a trophy.
Yeah, I mean, like if they don't do it, it's just going to remind us of, especially of our age group, just how remind us a lot of Holland and well, Netherlands as it should be Netherlands. I always call them Holland, but it's Netherlands. From '94 all the way to 2010, we saw them in latter stages of tournaments and things like that, and we're never able to take it over the line. And I'm a bit fearful that Belgium are going to go down the same route. But Lukaku is on form at the moment. He bagged a brace last night. Thomas Meunier, who's not had a very good season at all. I'm surprised he actually started this game, if I'm honest, because of how poor I feel that he was for Dortmund last season. But he got on the score sheet as well, and he looked like the player that Dortmund signed originally for me.
Yeah, he put in a good performance. Quite a few Tielemans played well, Lukaku played well. But again, with Russia, come back to them, they played, is it Zerkov? He's played 79 minutes for the whole season. And you choose him to start in a big major tournament game, and the guy plays 79 minutes of football. It's just like it's odd decisions. But Belgium were always going to have too much for them, you know. So yeah, 3-0, 4-0 could have been anything today. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because Finland now against Russia. That's a very important match because on paper Russia should beat them, but like you said, Finland as well going to be a bit. They're going to be excited to be playing that match. Denmark, it's just hard. It's unfair on Denmark, and to be fair, it's unfair on Finland as well because they were a part of the game as well. But as the show's gone on already, last night they're gonna just both gonna carry on. But yeah, Belgium is just gonna. I think they're gonna just take 9 points from this group. To be honest,
Yeah.
easy.
Easy stuff for Belgium, of course. And then the second game of Group A, of course, we saw on Friday night and the opening night, Italy battered Turkey. And then it was always down to one of these two sides to see who can challenge Italy by the looks of it. If I'm honest, I was in the Switzerland camp. I had a pre-match prediction of a 3-0 Switzerland. I was quite surprised with how basic Switzerland played, if I'm honest, with the talent that they have. They were, I don't think they really either A, wanted to play the game much, or B, just assumed that Wales are going to lay back and just allow them to play. And it wasn't the case. Wales, I think, were worthy of the point. And if they won this game, I don't think anyone would have argued much.
Little bit disagree because I do think Switzerland had most of the chances. But again, like when we were doing the group predictions, I had Wales to finish second. I don't even think I don't think there's much in between the two teams. To be fair, when you're actually looking at man for man and player for player, I know there's quite a few Switzerland players that you know, but there's obviously Gareth Bale, Aaron Ramsey, Ledley. There's quite a few players that play in the Premiership. Dan James from Man United. So they've got some good players. Obviously, not all of them have been fit this season, and I think that's one of Wales's problems that their players are not fit for the season, and then they're expected to perform in the bigger major championships. Which I mean, they did well. They did well not to get battered. I think they defended quite well. To be fair, Switzerland must have had 9 or 10 corners today. So if they were going to score, it was going to come from a set piece today. But the guy that we spoke about in the previews in Bolo definitely had the game of his life, man. There was one stage where he picked up the ball in his own half and ran past like 4 players, and I think I texted you straight away. I was like, "Are you actually watching this guy? He's a baller, man." But we, from the games that we've seen in the Bundesliga this year, Yeah, I don't know. Like I think, like you said earlier, I think he's just playing for a move, man.
He is. He is. Honestly, he's a highlight reel. That's what I call. That's what I call Mbolo, man. He is not the player that we all expected to see, but he has had two serious injuries. On the plus side, he is still in his early 20s, so he's got everything to play
Yeah, I
for
think he's
in the
24, yeah.
future. He really has. Now, later on today, we have 3 games. We'll work backwards. We've got Netherlands versus Ukraine, and Austria versus North Macedonia. Quick one on these two, because I know we want to have a couple of more minutes on England because we're English and we are in England, so we need to talk about that game last. But Netherlands Ukraine, very quickly, what are your score predictions on that one?
I'll go 2-0 Netherlands.
2-0 Netherlands. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw in that game. Austria versus North Macedonia. I'm going to go with a 3-0 Austria win. And I'm really hoping it's Sasa Kalajic with a hat trick. What are you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say 3-0 as well to Austria. I can't see North Macedonia getting anything out of this game, man. Especially, is it Pandev is playing, isn't he? So,
Go on, Pandev. He loves it. He loves it. He's 98 years old. He's doing well. He's looking good. And then, of course, England versus Croatia. That is the main game. It's the early game as well. It's what is it? It's in what, 6 hours time? I don't care. I'm ready. I'm going to mash up by the time kickoff. What are you saying for that score?
Honestly, don't know, man. Obviously, you won the England victory, but Croatia seemed to be a bit of a very sticky game for us. I know this Croatian team's a little bit older and England are younger now. I think it just depends on what Southgate goes for, man. If he starts trying to play 2 centre defensive midfielders in there, then I'll go 1-1. But if he starts an attacking team, I'll say 2-1 England.
I think he's going to overthink this game. I really do. Croatia aren't the same Croatia that got to the final in 2018 of the World Cup. They really aren't for me. And I think Gareth Southgate thinks they are. So I've got a feeling they're going to play 3 at the back and it's going to be really boring. It's going to be one of the most boring 0-0s/1-1s of all time. I want to get hyped for it. I'm getting hyped for it anyway. It's 8:15 on a Sunday morning. I'm on red stripe number 1. I'm gonna have red stripe number 2 as soon as we finish this show, and I'm going to be supporting England, even though I'm wearing my Germany shirt. As I said, I do what I want. I enjoy life and see what happens anyway. But yeah, that is it. That is it for our little bite-sized show. So, of course, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, of course, MAD Sports Network as the whole collective. Myself personally at GavMac23. And, of course, follow Big Gunner at Away Days Show on Twitter. And make sure you subscribe to his channel. It's very important that you do, because if you don't, you'll be missing out on some top-end stuff. And you don't want to be doing that. BG, I'll see you in a bit. Over and out, guys. Over and out.